Welcome back to the IDP Pros podcast. My name is Johny The Greek. I am joined this week, just like every week, with my main man, the IDP tipster, Mr. Gary Van Dyke. Gary, what's up, man? How are you?
Oh, just enjoying life, man. Hey, let's not forget you went 11-8 last week, man, for our first show. I think
Let
that's pretty damn good.
11-5, even better.
Oh, 11-5. My bad. My bad. My bad. Yes, yes. Hell
Yeah,
yeah, 11-5, brother. That's even better, right? I don't know where I was getting the extra games at, but you know how it goes, man. We roll funny over here. So,
yeah,
anyways, yeah,
yeah.
that was a sweet jump off for the playoffs, brother.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, that's a good week last week. I'm guessing this week will be a little harder, but hey, we're off to a good start, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're killing it.
Beautiful. So, yep, just like last week, we've got some. We're gonna look at each game. We're gonna do some team lines, maybe some over unders. Gary brought some nice looking bets this week as well. But before we get into it, just a couple quick words. So first of all, we're brought to you by our good friends at Trophy Smack. Trophy Smack has everything you need to bring your fantasy league to the next level. They've got championship trophies and rings. They've got wall art. They've even got gifts to the last place finisher. Anything you could possibly want, they have. We actually, Nate uses Trophy Smack for his home league,
Mhm.
and they've got a nice little belt. I've seen some of their multi-layer trophies. Like they've got some really nice stuff. So you can always use code IDP guys at checkout at trophysmack.com for a little bit of a discount. That is code IDP guys, all one word, at trophysmack.com. All righty.
There we
And
go.
just real quick before we get started, just a reminder, these are only suggestions. Please gamble within your means, set a limit, and for any help with problem gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. Shenanigans over. Let's get into it, Gary. What do we got first? Beautiful. All right. First game is Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Browns at Texans. I like this game quite a bit for entertainment value. Should be a back
Mhm.
and forth affair, bit of a shootout. You can see that with the over under there. Anything over like 41 points is typically Vegas saying we're going to get a bit of a shootout back and forth. And that's where I would go with this one. I would take the over 44 and a half. This is one of the only games that's indoors this weekend. The Lions game is as
Mhm.
well, but they're few and far between this weekend, and we got a lot of weather shenanigans that we're going to be talking about today. I mean, the game in KC is going to be minus 30, and we do not have to worry about that here. And we've got two high-scoring teams, two talented quarterbacks, all kinds of skill position talent all over the place. I think that's a low enough over under that we can easily get past 44 and a half. And beyond that, the game feels like a coin flip to me. So I'm not sure if it's going to be Browns or Texans. So I would take the over 44 and a half at minus 110 up top there.
Got it, man. Wow, that thing is huge. Let's reduce that a little bit, right? Wow. There we go. Yeah, we'll minimize a little bit, so we'll still get it on the screen though. All right. So, if you guys hadn't caught the first edition where we do nothing but all plus player bets for DraftKings, um, I actually got Cashman on there, man. You guys make sure you go check out that because it's got some really good, solid bets this week. They are all plus payouts. So we're going to roll with new one, which I happen to have all plus bets in this situation. I got kind of lucky. I like these too. But we're going to go with Za'Darius Smith getting over a quarter of a sack at plus 124 versus the Texans. He just had a killer game against the Texans a few weeks ago. Has an elite like grade, believe it or not. He's really turned it on for the latter half of this season. Let's see, he's recorded 7 of his 8 tackles for a loss on the year, and all 5.5 of his sacks since week 7. So he
Mm,
earned that grade the hard way. Now, when you're playing across from Miles Garrett, you get overlooked, and he is playing the strong side. So, but the nice thing about this is, what was that? Just week 16, he had 2 tackles excuse me, he had 2 sacks and 2 tackles for a loss in that contest with like 3 or 4 combined tackles. He lit them up. That was in Houston. So I don't have any problem thinking at this point that he's going to get a quarter of a sack at plus 124 on DraftKings.
Oh yeah, I'm with you on that because obviously they're gonna double team or chip or move guys over to help out with Garrett. That leaves Za'Darius one on one a lot more than he would be on most other teams, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
he is definitely good enough to at least get a half sack. When he's one on one like that the whole game. Plus, Houston loves to throw a lot. That's a lot of opportunity, and he just needs to get lucky once.
If I remember right, too, their offensive line or dirty O line, it's something like the 20th area or something. They're not that good.
Yep. Beautiful. Couple good ones to start right there. We'll move on to the Saturday night game, which is Chiefs and Dolphins in KC at minus 30 degrees at kickoff, is what they're predicting at this current moment in time. I would go. So, first of all, I think Kansas City money line or minus 4.5, you're good either way. We could take minus 4.5 to get the extra payout, right? It's a better price at 115. There is no way a finesse team that is shredded and riddled with injury is coming to KC and beating the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs beat them handily. So I'll take the minus 4.5 at minus 115. You could even combo that with under 43.5 points right there. There's no way this thing is going to be a shootout when it's minus 30 degrees outside. So, that's a nice little combo bet right there that would, that's easily plus money when you combine those two. It's probably plus 200, plus 300. That's how I would go with that one.
Nice. For players prop bet, I've got Chiefs Justin Reed over 6.5 total tackles at plus 120 at the moment. Reed's had a hell of a year, believe it or not, even though he's well under par grade. Yeah, it's not surprising. But either way, his role for this defense gets some production. Let's see, Miami's been a top 10 all season long and allowing production to the secondary to begin with. So in this situation, though, I think I like Justin Reed a lot more with this weather that they're going to have. He's going to be playing up in the box and helping Nick Bolton out. So I don't think he's going to have any trouble. He's averaged 7.5 combined tackles since their midseason, week 10 bye. So I have no problem thinking that he'll get 6.5 total tackles plus 120.
Yeah, and I think game script wise that this could work out that way as well. Because if the Dolphins get in a hole early or by halftime or even going into the third quarter, I don't think they're gonna be running the ball nearly as much as they'd like to in a game like this. With everything so
Right.
screwed up weather wise, and those short passes, those intermediate passes will be right in Justin Reed's area. So that's a good setup.
Nice.
All righty, moving on to Sunday, 1 p.m. game. We got Steelers at Bills. It's got a very low over under 33.5 points. And part of the reason for that is there's like a foot of snow on the ground, or will be. They're going to spend all of Saturday trying to shovel it out. I just saw that on Twitter. Totally crazy. So another screwed up weather game. It's going to be cold, snowy, wet, disgusting. The Steelers are without TJ Watt, and they weren't that good to begin with. They kind of snuck their way in at the end of the season, got lucky a little bit with things breaking their way. I feel like they are frauds. I feel like they're going to get annihilated. So I'm taking Bills -9 at minus 115 right there for the price.
-9 minus that one.
Yes, sir. That's the one. Yeah, I mean, without TJ Watt, that pass rush is a shell of what it's capable of. Plus, Minka's been banged up. He may or may not play. They've had all kinds of injury issues. In the Bills' defense, we cannot overlook them. That is an excellent, excellent unit.
Yes.
And I think they'll be more than able to shut down the Steelers' offense.
Nice. I am going to go with Steelers Alex Highsmith for over 3.5 total tackles. at plus 135 versus the Bills. It's not a great off the edge matchup for him to get a sack. Okay. If you guys caught the first edition, man, I love Cayman Hayward on the interior defensive line getting one because, I mean, I'll mention real quick. Christian Wilkinson, Jack Saylor, they both had between the two of them, they had a sack and a half last game against them. And over the last couple of weeks before that, they gave up a sack to, was it Mozzie Smith and Dietrich Wise on the interior. That's where those sacks come from, not from the edge. But there is going to be production in this game. And talking about the weather, guys that are trying to catch the ball in the second half, man, that's going to be like throwing a brick and catching a brick. So I like it a lot for Alex Smith to still be a productive game. And believe it or not, he is still graded elitely in PFF right now and at a 90, even though he's not having that kind of season this year because, well, he's basically played across from Watt on the strong side of the formation. So that's how that rolls most of the time. It's a perfect situation for me to go ahead and roll with Alex Smith over 3.5 total tackles plus 135.
Right. Yeah, I love that. The game script lines up perfectly for it. So never mind the screwed up weather that's going to mess up the pass game and make this a more run heavy black and blue defensive affair to begin with. But beyond that, look at what Buffalo's offense has done for the last month or two. They barely throw the ball anymore. They really do not throw the ball that often. They were a top 10 passing offense for most of the season. They've fallen off. They just hand off now. James Cook over and over again. The two running backs behind him, Ty Johnson and the other guy. They love to run the ball now, and it's been working for them. They got into the playoffs. They won the division. Why go away from something that's been working so well? And in that kind of game script, Alex Highsmith, who plays a ton of snaps to begin with and should play more without TJ Watt there, is in a perfect position to get 4 tackles. That's not a problem.
Yeah, and should switch over to where Watt's been getting all kinds of combined tackles all season long from the weak side playing next to Hayward, right? Should. That's what I would do. Put your best guy on that weak side. That's what they do with Watt now. Watt.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So I like that. And me and Gary always say availability is the best ability, right? And Highsmith is going to play a ton of snaps. That Steelers defense will probably be on the field quite a bit. That's a great setup to start with.
Nice.
All righty. Moving on to the 4:30 p.m. game on Sunday. We got Packers and Cowboys. And my pessimistic self wants to say one thing, but reality is probably something different. So Cowboys should, on paper, win this game and win it handily. But I trust them as far as I can throw them with no arms when it comes into the playoffs. So I don't feel great about it, but they should win. I would take Cowboys and I would tweak that -7 and make it -6.5 using the alt line, which we talked about a little bit last week. It's a pain in the butt to show on this stream, but trust me, it's doable. You just got to, go into the game and tweak the line back a little bit. But that way, if the Cowboys win by exactly 7, you don't get screwed. Whereas right now, that could be a push if they win by exactly 7. So that's what I would do. Realistically, Dallas should win by 14, 21, 28. They're at home in a first round game against an inferior team. They should kill them.
I wish I was as optimistic. I actually don't have another good players prop bet that I could find that I hadn't already used. And I actually doubled up on Preston Brown and Rashan Gary, both getting a quarter of a sack. I believe it was around the 150s, plus 150s on the payout. Check out the first edition for that and why. I think Dak's going to do Dak things. And, I've seen him mess up so much, but he also gets sacked a lot. So go check out more of the details there in the first edition.
I
could pay out.
I could see that. I could see that. So I was listening to NFL radio today, and they were talking about how the Packers are within the worst third of the league for rushing defense. So Dallas should run the ball, but we know that's probably not going to happen. They love to. if they played a more conservative style, they'd be a much better team. If they ran and played defense with that defense and controlled time of possession, they'd kill everyone. But they refuse to do that. They want to throw it 40, 50 times a game. And that is a great setup for Preston Smith and Rashan Gary to get a piece of a sack, not even a full sack, a piece of a sack.
Well, that's, if for those that you don't know, Johny The Greek is actually a big Dallas fan. So if anybody knows, he does. Tell us, brother, is it going to throw an interception?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. There's another DraftKings prop bet. Nice and simple.
Yeah, I am not your typical Cowboys fan. Strong pessimist.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff there. All right, Sunday night game is a great one, and our buddy Nate, IDPguys.com.org, whatever it is now, IDP Plus, is at the game. He just left to go to the game today to see this game, so we wish him a good time, and we wish the Lions good luck. This is a tough one, man. It's a coin flip in my eyes. If I had to make a bet on this, I would bet over 51.5. Because I don't know who's going to actually win the game, but I do know that these are two excellent offenses indoors, and neither defense is like the 85 Bears. So I think we get enough to get over 51.5 at minus 112 up on the top there. Yeah. I think that's probably your safest and most realistic bet for that game.
It's funny as I'm sitting there looking for my prop bet for this game, brother, and I don't have it. I didn't have one. I screwed up. I don't have one for the Rams Lions game. And folks, I'm not going to go crashing through and look for this just to get one out here. So, get something where Ernest Jones gets a bunch of points.
Yes, that Gary, you just stole the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, if you want to prep for this game, go look at their Ernest Jones total combined tackles. If it's not crazy, if it's not like 10, 11, 9-8, I feel like is very doable against this Lions team. Was like the 4th overall rushing offense for most of the season. These guys hand off a lot. They got Gibbs and Montgomery. Why wouldn't you? So Ernest Jones, no doubt.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty, that takes us to Monday Night Football, where the struggling Eagles are coming to Tampa Bay. So Tampa Bay is getting 3 points here. That's not enough to move the needle for me. If they were getting, 7.5, I would take Tampa Bay with points. And man, I just don't know. The Eagles should win this on paper. What I would do with this one is take the over 43.5 for the combined total, because it is two pretty decent offenses, so we should get over that and maybe tweak it a little bit. So with that total, you could turn that down a bit, turn it down to like 39.5, and there's a good chance we're getting 40 points out of this game. So that would be the over 43.5 for what we got on the screen, but you would have to manually turn it back to 39.5 using the alternative. The top one. Yeah, there we go. Yep.
Top one. All right.
Yes, sir. So I think that's the safest thing you could do, because we're going to get 40 points between these two teams. And, you ask 10 different people who's going to win this game, you're going to get 10 different answers. There is no obvious, favorite here.
Yeah. I'm going to have to learn how to make those adjustments on the screen or something along that line. So, Philadelphia, man, their defense has been struggling the last few weeks. Plus, they're hurt, they're injured. It's going to be an interesting game, brother. I mean, it almost makes me, to tell you the truth, to put $5 on plus 130.
Right.
It just really depends on what Buccaneers team shows up. In my eyes, what kind of game this is going to be. But this is also leading me into my players prop bet for the Buccaneers, Antoine Winfield Jr., the safety, over 2.5 assisted tackles at plus 135 versus the Eagles. They're in playing in Tampa Bay, so things should go accordingly. I do have that right. Yeah, they are playing in Tampa Bay.
Yep.
He's an elite graded player, key player on this defense. He's always in the middle of everything. important. And if you can't say this game's important, I don't know what is. He's actually averaged just over 2.5 assisted tackles since mid-season, around week 10. Eagles defense beat up. I already mentioned that. Again, I just think that the production is going to be there from the Eagles side of the. They can't help but throw the ball.
Right, exactly.
They're going to be running the ball. He plays strong safety. He's going to be in the mix, and he's going to be in the middle of this. So I have no problems thinking he can get 3 assisted tackles at plus 135.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you on this. So Winfield's been heavily involved in pretty much every game this entire season that he's played. He is an excellent option. Like you said, he's in the box sometimes. So that's good for the run stopping tackle floor right there. And then, he also plays back sometimes too. So he can help with pass coverage. He's just so good that, like you said, it's hard to imagine a world where he doesn't have like 7 combined tackles, 3 of those are assists, and we're good to go.
Who they have playing opposite him right now? Who did they bring back out to play the other safety position?
Oh man, that is a great question.
It won't matter. It won't matter. Even if it's Ryan or something like that, or any of those dudes, they haven't been able to cover. So I like this a lot against a passing team or against a type of offense that Philadelphia presents. It's going to be a productive game. I think he's going to get that 3 assists, no problem.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Yeah. Right. We covered this. What was it? 8 weeks ago when it started happening with Ryan Neal losing snaps,
right?
And then coming back, then losing snaps, and Christian Izzy and getting some snaps. But like you said, doesn't matter. Winfield's the guy, and he seems to be everywhere at once. So
if it helps too, Eagles aren't actually that generous to the inside linebackers. So I would kind of shade or fade on.
David and White. Yeah.
I kind of fade on them. That actually helped me go towards Winfield getting this 3 because he's only got 3 or more a handful of times this year. But it's been matchups that line up like this, so he's productive.
Yeah, and you're right. The Eagles got a little bit of that Dallas thing going on where if they just handed off the ball 30 times a game, they'd probably be a lot more successful than they are right now. But they won't.
Yep. Swift's not hurt, right?
Swift's okay. Jalen Hurts is a little banged up. His hand's banged up, but he'll go. It's the playoffs, so he'll go.
Right. Cool.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Any parting words? Any other bets you're making this week?
Hey, well, we're bringing you this content. We've been doing good for all year, doing the player props with the underdog. So if you go check those out, give us a like, subscribe, watch for some more to come out. The second edition of the underdogs with Dave and Actions being recorded or getting ready to be recorded here momentarily. So both of these should be out Saturday morning. Just, help support us. We're going to follow through with the rest of the playoffs, and any love that we could get, we'd appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely. That is true. We'll be here for the rest of the playoffs, and we appreciate you guys listening, and hope we can make you a little cash. At the very minimum, it's hopefully entertaining.
Oh yeah, have a good one.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Good luck this week. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Take care.
On the ball. Thank you for watching this IDP Guys video. If you like this content and you want more fantasy football content, click here. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos to help you master your IDP league, click here to subscribe.